Hey crafty people, welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Alright, welcome to my channel. What I would like to do today is create some full page tabs, and I'm going to start by grabbing my scoreboard. And this was inspired by Crafty by Toni, and I'm pretty sure I saw a video by Seven Plaza also making these. And so what we're gonna do is, this is some tea-dyed paper that I also splattered some distress spray stains on while it was wet. And we are going to score at 1 inch, 3 inches, 5 inches, and I think that's where we're going to stop because otherwise we're going to have an insane number of these. The same with this piece of paper. We're going to do 1, 3, 5, and actually I want to do a wider one. So we're going to score this one also at 8. And then these pieces of paper are 6x6 Crafters Consortium pad papers, and they're 6x6, so they're not going to be quite as full page, but close enough. And again, 1, 3, 5. All right, we're done scoring. I'm gonna grab my paper trimmer and we are going to cut them now. So we scored at 1, so we're gonna cut at 2, and then we're gonna cut at 2, and so that gives us 3 pieces scored in the middle, so we can then fold for creating our tabs. Okay, so you can see the scores a little bit better on this side. So I'm going to cut at 2 and 2 and that, and then again. So every time we're going to cut at 2 inches, except that last one that I did, which this one we're going to cut at 4 inches, so that it's a wider piece. The back of this is got all these different colors on it because I haven't washed my towels that I do my dyeing on, so it's got inks from other inky projects that I've done. And let me grab out my green mat so that I have something firm for folding on. So let's see. I think this one will fold this side out, but a couple of these, because the back's kind of cool, will fold the other way around. And yeah, I know it's not lining up perfectly, but when we go to put it on a page, it'll go on like this, so you won't even see that they don't line up exactly right. All right, now to create our tab shape on these, I have got my notch punch, which I am just going to, I don't know how well you can see, kind of line it up all the way over. trying to decide. Let me grab a scratch piece of paper and just see where I want to do the lining up. So we've got that option, which will get me what? That versus and line it up in the middle. See, and kind of go in midway. That gets me that option. Okay, that's what I want. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my folded piece of paper in the center. Now I know for Toni did hers using the We Are Memory Keeper tab punch board. I don't have that, so I'm using my notch punch. Now the next step is to decide how far over I want my tab to go. That did not work out exactly as planned. Okay, so I was supposed to put the other end down there and just have it be one large tab, not put it there. So we're gonna go ahead and do something a little different for this one. This is definitely one of those days where nothing's cooperating. Nothing is cooperating. So I'm gonna line that up and hopefully manage a straight line. And I know this is gonna split this open, but there is a fix for that. So what we're gonna do to fix that real quick is grab some washi. Okay, let's grab a piece of washi and we're just gonna run that all along here. I think this is a Crafty by Toni washi as I'm looking at it. Wrap that around. And so it will still go over the page like so and be a large page tab, not quite a full page tab because this is only 6 by 6 and my pages are usually 8.5 by 5.5 because I fold an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper in half. All right, where did I put the little cover for this? Ah, here it is. Oh, yeah, this is one of those afternoons where I should just stop crafting. Okay, so what I was supposed to do is notch this end and then go to the other end and notch it. So it's a whole page tab. So it'll go on the page like so. And it is the full size of a page. And we've got lots and lots of real estate to decorate. All right, so let's go through and notch a whole bunch and then we'll do some decorating. And if you don't have a notch punch, your options are, if you have the We Are Memory Keeper tab punch board, you could just use that. And actually I've got a tab punch. I wonder, let's try one of these, because what I can do is can I do that? Will it work? No, it's not gonna work. Okay, what I can do is grab a piece of paper, cut a tab out, and use it so and go and hand cut out the shape. So that is another way you can create this. Or if you have a digital that's got a tab that you've cut out, you can use that to trace. Or you can just kind of freehand it, or you can just round the corners and just do a rounded corner one. Like that needs to be more rounded. So you've got lots of options for how to do the corners if you don't have a notch punch. This I got to go with my scoreboard for making envelopes. All right, now that we have punched all of them, we can decorate. So let's reinforce that. And let me grab my bits and bobs. All right, I grabbed all my various bits and bobs, and let's see. Let's do, go kind of purpley on this one. So this is probably gonna go, because the flowers kind of go every which way. So definitely want one of those guys, but it needs something behind it. It's gonna be on the page like that, kind of like that guy. All right, still needs more. Don't want this butterfly sticking over the edge because it's kind of delicate, so we're gonna stick him more like there. Let's see what else we've got that we can use. Oh, I have a feeling this is going to be one of those days where like nothing seems right. I have a feeling I'm going to be calling this video quits a lot sooner than intended because, yeah, the mojo is not flowing right now. Now this is stamped bits and bobs using the Holtz Curator set. I feel like I need to stamp something on here. Let's see. I saw I had a Crafty by Toni stamp set sitting out on my desk here a second ago. Let's see what's in there. This guy. Grab my mouse pad, a stamping block. I can stamp that there and then have the butterfly over there. I think Versifying Claire, Morning Mist. I think that'll go with the stamping on that little other piece that I grabbed. Yeah, I'm definitely not feeling it right now. All right, that's gonna go there. That's gonna go over here. I think I want some cheesecloth. And I think I have some out on my desk. think what we're gonna do is just put a little glue on the back of here. I'm gonna use Fabri-Tac. Then grab scissors. Trim that off. I'm looking up here going, got like random ripped off little pieces of book page that I'm keeping because I'm insane. So that'll go there. All right, we're gonna do a whole flip around because I'm thinking that we're gonna go like that. That and this. That's gonna need ink. Just going with whatever's on this brush that's purple. Apparently not enough purple left, so let's pull out Distress Ink in Wilted Violet. Grab some glue. I want to darken him up. Let's see what happens if we grab some Villainous Potion and a teeny tiny brush. Grab our tweezers. I'm just gonna press him down with a rag so if there's any glue seepage, since that's a rather delicate die cut, it'll go on my rag and not on my piece. Just trying to keep like the actual purple flower on and showing. Oh wait, this one you can see more of the purple flowers. And we're gonna crinkle and add a little more ink directly on. Needs something else. It needs to be a little smaller. And this is probably a Tim Holtz stamp that I stamped on some antique book page. It does not want to tear. All right, I'm gonna use my Fabri-Tac on here because we've got the cheesecloth. There we got that guy, and it'll go on a page like so, and just add a little bit of decoration to the page. Let me just glue this bit down. All right, so we got one done. I want to grab one of the green ones because I know I have in my scrap bin. I was just collecting like the random scraps on my desk. This bit. So let's, where is my bone folder? Let's get a better crease in this. So I kind of want that as my starting point on this one, and I'm okay with that sticking off of the page a bit. It's gonna need something else along here, maybe a piece of book page. All right, this piece is so small and twisty. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and glue it onto here, and then we'll trim it up to fit on there. I like that direction better for the leaves. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and glue it on. And then trim off the excess after I glue it down. I don't want this bit hanging over. The label-y part can hang over, but this page is, I think, antique leather that I used on my gel, that I gel printed on, and so it's going to be very fragile and I don't want it sticking off the side of a page. Let's grab a butterfly. And it can hang out onto the page that way. That's not a problem. Let's grab him. I like him. And I'm gonna grab my tiny attacher and give him a body. Like so. And let's trim off our excess at the top. And the bottom. And there we go. And I'm actually going to throw these two little pieces out instead of saving them because I have like an overload of stuff that I'm saving on my desk. All right, I like him. We're going to call him done. Let's work on this guy that's the bigger tab. Now you could always decorate both sides if you wanted to. I think I'm just going to do decorating on one side because oh, I'm struggling enough today. Let me grab, all right, I grabbed some washi tape and I'm gonna run it along our fold. I'm just gonna run a little bit of glue along here just to help keep it on. Do the Crafty by Toni trick and grab a little sand paper and do that to get the excess off the edge there. Although it always seems to work so much easier for her than it does me. It would have been so much easier to just snip that with my scissors. That did not cooperate at all. All right. Yeah, we're going to do this one and then I'll call it quits for tonight and come back at some later point and do some more of them because, yeah, it's today. No. Let's see, what do I want? I think I want this butterfly. All right, I think I want some tall die cut flowers for this, which I don't think I have any in the blue handy or even cut out right now. So I am gonna put this guy on hold. I'm gonna do that. I'll come back and we'll finish this one up and maybe do one or two more. Okay, so I did the die cutting and please excuse the noise in the background if you can hear it. That's my washing machine running. And pulled out a bunch of stuff for a few other ones. Although I'll be honest, it's been a while since I first started filming this video. And I don't remember exactly what I was thinking. So we're just gonna start assembling with what I've got pulled out and see where it goes from there. All right, let's set that aside. Let's do this one because I know what I'm doing for this guy. So on this side, I die cut These are some Tim Holtz Sizzix dies, and he used a leftover scrap of one of the inky backgrounds for this one, so it wasn't quite long enough to get the whole stem. So what I will do is trim this off, because I then also die cut it out of a dark blue cardstock I had sitting out on my desk, and we're gonna like offset glue them together to give this guy a little bit more presence. And I did this stalk and this stalk are from the Wildflowers ones. I will leave the exact name down below, I don't remember. And this is from a new die set that I bought. It's also Sizzix and Tim Holtz, but I have absolutely no idea what the heck the name of this one is. So I'll leave that info in the description down below in case you're interested. You of course can use whatever dies you have in your stash. So let me grab my tweezers and use those to help me glue these guys together. I probably didn't get glue anywhere near where I want. Nope, not even close. That did not work well at all. But they're glued together, so that's all that's important. This one, I think there's a little bit of paper that needs to be trimmed away. I don't know what's up with these dies, but there are a couple spots on them that just, no matter what I do, no matter what I cut with, don't quite cut out all the way on these dies. Offsetting it a little so that the dark blue shows to help give the lighter blue a little bit more presence. And then I've got one of the butterflies to go up there. I want to label. These are the Junk Journal Studio. I like that. I'm just going to snip that off. All right, so let's start by gluing this down. And part of me, because it's really bulky, like these are thick and this is not as thick, I think I may just go ahead and glue this down and then try sticking it so that it looks like they're going behind, but they aren't actually going behind, kind of like that. So let's do that. I won't glue to the very edge. This way I have a little room to tuck a teeny bit under, but I Now this one I am actually going to decorate both sides because I know exactly what I'm using this one for, and I want to have both sides decorated. So I've got some of these flowers, and I did a short, there's a short video on my channel showing you how I created my sparkly flowers. I think that one's going to go there. Another one going. All right, let's put one down at a time. And what I think I'll do is I'll stick a little glue on here and glue him to the flower. I started doing that and realized I need to add a stem for this one. So we'll kind of tap the top part down, but not the bottom part, and add our stem. grab it off. And that one's all decorated. Okay, so we got this one, and for this one I'm using, these are one of the labels created when I did the masked off backgrounds with labels, and since it was created with masking tape, I'm gonna need to trim it down, or glue it down. This piece needs to get trimmed down a little bit, and it definitely needs some inking. Grab shabby shutters. No, I lied. I think I'm grabbing bundled sage. Let's see. And that's Distress Oxide that I grabbed. And I'm also going to add a little to our butterflies to kind of alter their color just a hair. I want to ink the edges of this. For that, I'm grabbing shabby shutters. Actually, I just did that, and now I'm thinking, I'm like, let's just nip the corners off so it mimics the shape of that. Let's go back in and ink those. I feel like it's missing something to go on here too, because I usually stick to odd numbers when I do collaging. So I'm wondering if I was supposed to have something else that goes on here. Let me find something real quick. These are Crafty by Toni stamps. I stamped on some scrap paper from when I made these butterflies. Like that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna glue this down first. Now I may go back and decorate the other side as well, so both sides are decorated, but for today's video we're just gonna decorate the one side. Put down our little butterfly. They were cut out from book page. I inked with Distress Oxide sprays. So one side you'll notice is a little more chalky and the other is a little brighter. This book paper's so thin, it bleeds through and you get the more vibrant color on the back. All right, that one. It's definitely channeling very green when I picked out the ones to decorate. All right, so let's see. I've got, this is one of my wax paper butterflies. This is the detail one that goes with that wax paper, and it is out of super delicate book page. So we are gonna glue this down all the way because otherwise it's gonna rip more than it already has. This is tickets from 49 and Market ticket set, and again I'm going to ink edges just to knock this back a little. In fact, let's bring this back over and grab our ink pad. And this is, I feel like it's from a My Porch Prints printable, but I don't remember for sure. I will attempt to figure that out for you and leave that info down below. Now you'll notice, nope, that's the wrong way. I'm overhanging a little, and I'm overhanging on this side instead of the folded side because this side's going to be on the page, and these are not like super sturdy. So if you're going to have, this one definitely not, and it's going to go like there. So if you're going to have stuff overhanging your full page tab, have the overhang towards the page, unless it's sturdy enough to be something that might be hanging out of your journal. kind of thinking I just want to leave it with the 3. I think I just want to do that. All right, let's do that. And then when it gets put on the page, I can glue the delicate butterfly wing down to the page it goes on. That one's done. I think these are all going on this one. They got kind of mixed up in the thing, so now I'm doing that and that. We've got telephone, and then I think I was gonna put, I don't know what I was thinking. Like those just don't, I don't know what was going through my head. All right, so for these two, I want to knock back the white, and I think I'm gonna go Squeezed Lemonade, a super light yellow. And we'll just brush that on lightly. So again, I'm going very light, so it's just subtly changing the white. And again, my overhang is towards my open end, not my folded end. Give the wings a little bit of dimension and just glue the body down. All right, we got that one done. This one I actually made notes, cheesecloth, stamp with scripty stamp. Because I've got one of the Tim Holtz Sizzix, I think it's vintage labels, where you ink the die and then cut it out and it debosses and inks at the same time. Let me grab a scripty stamp. Actually, I'm kind of wondering, do I want to use this one instead? I think we may use that one. I'm gonna grab a stamping pad. And I'm just sitting here debating to myself what color ink I want to stamp with. Do I want to go tea dye, or do I want to go yellow? Let's do somewhere in between, and we'll go antique linen oxide. Because I just want to add a little interest to the background, because we're going to put butterflies on this. Yeah, I think that was the right call color-wise. Stamp that twice. Grab my Fabri-Tac. Okay with the fabric or the cheesecloth overhanging where it's folded and so sticking out from the page. I think that'll be cool. Die cut another butterfly to go on here, because yeah, this definitely needs one more little guy to go up there. So I will do that eventually and add another guy on here just to balance everything out, but that one's done. So this is a ink and page printable. And this is ChezSimone ChezSimoneTresors digital, and I'm debating right now. I think I want her there, so we are going to trim a little off of here. This needs inking. The whole thing needs something else on it. These are strips that came off of a piece when I did that. This is from the shaving cream. I like that. I feel like it still needs a couple more things. Okay, found a few things. This little strip of book page has been floating around on my desk for ages, and so we're just gonna tear this off. And then I'm gonna have this little strip floating around my desk for ages. And I think we'll go to there, and I think it's gonna go along here. Stick a number stamped on antique book page right there, and a butterfly up here. And then I'll trim off the excess of this that's hanging off, because I don't think I want to leave that hanging off. Part of me's thinking I could always put an eyelet in and have something dangling and have this stick out the edge of the page. You know what we're gonna do? We are gonna grab our corner rounder and round those corners so they're not sharp and offensive. And you know what? All right, let's start gluing down. Let's glue this strip down because we know where it's going, and we've already made a decision on that. I'm kind of looking at it and I'm wondering if I want to switch it because of the colors that I decided to go with on this one, because I like that's probably from it being on my table. And actually, you know what we're gonna do? I think I've got another long one of these. Okay, let's go with this one instead. All right, that is the way we've been planning it. So let's grab this. Stick that on like so. She's gonna go there, which means if I'm going to put an eyelet in, it's gonna need to go like right there. Let me grab that. So I paused the video so I could get the eyelet and didn't apparently turn it back on. So what I ended up doing is, I'm not sure at this point because I'm filming, haven't watched it all back yet. I rounded the corners on this side because this side's going to go on the page so it'll match this side. I put the eyelet in and added a bulb pin, and I'll add something to it to dangle. I messed up and added too much glue and then mucked it up, so I covered that up with a butterfly. Added 3 more butterflies up there, the little banner, and the book page. So yeah, sorry about that. I'm kind of bummed that I messed up and forgot to hit record again. And so we're working on this one, and I've got a piece of inky antique book page that I think we're gonna use to add to the background, because I was trying to figure out, I wanted something to go behind these guys to help them stand out a little better, and the first thing I grabbed did not work, so we're gonna try this, although it may be too pink. I'm looking at it now going, this probably is going to be too pink. I'm not going to like it because it's going to be too pink. think it's a little too pink. Dadnabbit. Just trying to see if I've got anything more red, less pink over here, and I don't appear to have more red, less pink. So what we may do is take just a bit of that. Let's see, how do they look against that? Actually, I think that's gonna work. I think what we're gonna do is just do one row of numbers. And this way it's just covering it up completely, so that's kind of pointless. All right, so that's it's turning into be one of those evenings. So all right, let's try tearing down 2 columns and seeing if that works better. I think I like that idea. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab red and ink the edges of this in red. Sitting here thinking I kind of want to do a little stamping on here. I'm just using that Crafty by Toni stamp again. I kind of like that. All right, I'm gonna call that one done. Okay, so we did this guy and this one. And this one, and that one, and that one, and our double-sided one, and this one, and this guy. And then we got this one, which I almost forgot. So let's, everybody scooch over a little. There was what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 in the bed, and the little one said roll over. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that lets YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting.